Hello friends, and welcome back to my crafty space where I share my memory keeping projects and processes with all of you. If this is your first time here, hello and welcome. My name is Crystal and I am super excited that all of you are here today. Today I am going to be sharing my very first album flip through, which I should also mention that any of the products or the links that I will be talking about in this video, I will link in that description box down below. So if you're interested in checking any of it out, you can find those links down there. So today I am going to be sharing my very first album flip through, and that is for the first day of my Day in the Life project. So Week in the Life is going to be starting up here really soon, and it is by far one of my absolute favorite projects. I am actually planning to start documenting my Week in the Life tomorrow, which is the second to last week in April. I'm doing that because we're in the middle of the stay home order still, and I just thought it would be a really great way to document not only a week in our life, but also this really extraordinary week in our life. So I made myself a rule that I could not open up my package of goodies that I purchased for my Week in the Life album until I got this one done. So I worked all day on it today and it is complete. So I'm just going to go ahead and flip through it for you guys. So this album was the album, and it came with dividers and page protectors. That was the Day in the Life album from Allie Edwards for 2020. And I documented March 5th right along with her. So this album formula is going to look really familiar to you because it is the exact same formula that Allie did for hers. I watched her video. I loved her album. I loved the way that it looked. And I decided to just not reinvent the wheel and go ahead and scrap lift her idea for my own album. One, because I love it, and two, because, like I said, I wanted to get this done so I can move on and start on my Week in the Life. So I've got my title card here, which was part of the Day in the Life kit. And then I've got just a regular photo, just an extra photo on the inside. All of the pictures, I do put one of these half circles on. All of them except for this one I will journal on. This one I did add a chipboard piece that just says, let's celebrate this totally normal day. And then we move on to the days. So for this day, I did the ing words, and I did end up using all 9 of them. So my album ends up being really chunky, and I'm probably going to need to get a second, actual album cover for the second day of the year, because yes. So I did the same thing as Allie by putting the shipping tags onto the dividers, the acetate clear dividers. I just liked the way that it looked, and I purchased these right away because I love shipping tags. I also just did the repeated date stamp of the day inside of there, and then this is what you'll notice is the same. Also, I did the flip out. Now, Allie scored hers. I ended up just trimming mine at that 2.5 inch mark. So these are 6x8 photos. I measured out a 2.5 inch section. I cut that off, and then underneath it, I have these adhered to a piece of copy paper, just a 1 inch thick by 8 inch tall copy paper. And then I adhered my photo down on there so that it would fold nicely. And I don't know, for whatever reason, my photo paper didn't like being scored. So I just chose to cut it instead, and it doesn't take away from the picture, I don't think, at all. And this one goes straight down the middle of my face, so I don't mind that. So here you can see I did my journaling, and then I went into my stash and grabbed out a bunch of pattern papers that I have had for ages. And I just grabbed ones that I thought went well with the colors of this kit. So I've got this floral pattern. So I cut a 2.5 inch strip and adhered that on there. And then I also cut out a 1 inch strip to adhere to the back where these holes are punched. Every flip every pattern flip here has a tiny word sticker that kind of layers with the tags. So like this one says daily routine. I've got my photo, and then on the back I've got my journaling. So this, I talked about eating, and for my journaling, what I decided to do, instead of working chronologically, like starting at the beginning of the day and journaling until the end of the day, I decided to just go for these words and talk about those specific things within the day. So like this, I talked about like that I'm not really big on eating breakfast and lunch. I just don't really wake up hungry, but I wake up, wanting coffee. I drink a lot of coffee throughout the day. And then I usually have big dinners, but with kids, you have to feed them breakfast and lunch. So they force me to eat. And I talked about like, what did we eat that day, right? So this is all about eating. Then I've got my next one here, and this, I love this pattern right here, which is numbers. This one is all about learning. So I took a picture of myself at my computer desk and told the story about, what am I learning in life right now on this day right now. I've got another shipping tag on here, again, the repeat stamping, and then this is another pattern. So I have like some florals and some more bold patterns. This is a picture of Izzy in her outfit for the day that she dressed herself in. And that's part of what I talk about on my journaling. So like, what is Erin typically wearing right now? What do I typically wear right now? Izzy and Jonah. So just a brief touch on what does this word mean for us right now on this day. Okay, so next we've got the observations. And then on this one, I get a bright bold pattern, and then I've got a picture of Izzy playing with Play-Doh. So the journaling down on the half circle. And then this one is all about watching. So what am I watching throughout the day? I believe I talked about watching Izzy play with Play-Doh, watching my kids interact with my mom, watching Erin and Jonah play together. So just the things that I observed throughout the day. So next we've got details. For my tag, I repeated that number pattern in here. I think I had 2 patterns that I repeated. This is a picture of the back of the car. Like I opened up the doors and peeked my head in and took a selfie of us in the car. Of me dropping my kids my daughter off to my mom's house. And so I talk about like, where did we all go? So where did Erin go? Me, Izzy, and Jonah. And I also talked about like typically what happens on a Thursday, because this particular Thursday was different than normal. Normally Izzy goes to school on Thursdays, but this particular one, she went to my mom's house. So that was kind of something a little special. So, okay, next we've got everyday moments, be present is my tiny word, another pattern. And then I've got this picture of Erin and Jonah journaling on the bottom. And this one was all about loving. So things that I'm loving that are happening on this day. I talk about spending the morning with my kids, the weather starting to warm up, visiting my mom, playing on the swing set, eating dinner as a family. So just things that I was loving throughout the day. Next, I've got a little story from today, and this one I could have used as a journaling spot, but I decided to just throw it on here and do that repeat stamping because I liked the teal with this teal background. So another floral pattern here. We'll open that up, and that's a picture of Erin reading to Jonah, and I talk about listening. So I talked about listening to Izzy explain a project she's making and listening to the kids giggle while they played together, listening to my friends on YouTube doing their videos, and listening to silence, right, during nap time and whatnot, and listening to Erin read. So I really tried. So when I was doing this project, I looked at the product before the day came so I would know different types of prompts that I would want to photograph. And then I really tried to pay attention to points in the day when those opportunities presented themselves. So like this one with Erin reading to Jonah, and I'm listening to that. I knew I wanted to pair that here, so it just kind of helped. it helped with the process of this and making it more structured for me. Okay, so next we've got this little today tag, a different pattern than we've seen. And then this is a picture my husband took of me at my craft table. And this one I paired with working. And I talked about like working from home and what that means, and working on crafts, and you know why that's so important, why I love it so much. And then the last one here, I just used the highs and lows tag, and then I repeated that floral pattern from earlier in the book. And this one is just a picture of me that I took outside, just a selfie of myself. And this one, the last one I chose, was this feeling, and I just used this as kind of a wrap up. So like, what did I feel in general throughout the day? So yes, so that is that. There was an extra divider. I don't know why there was an extra divider, but I'll probably take this out and use it in a different book, or you know, maybe I like to keep these for things like December Daily, or I could totally like take this and punch shapes out of it and use it in an interactive project later. But that is my December Daily. You guys, I'm totally losing it. That is my Day in the Life album. This is the very first time I have ever done Day in the Life. Last year was my first time doing Week in the Life, so this will be my second year doing that. And I will be participating in the second Day in the Life project for 2020, which I believe will be in the fall. But like I said, we're already kind of chunky here, so I think I'm going to order a second one of these albums. That way they can at least be cohesive. So when they're on the shelf next to each other, I know that this teal one is my Day in the Life for this year. So yeah, because I'm not going to be able to fit another day in here. There's no way. So that is that. I hope that was fun for you guys. I definitely enjoyed making this. And just as a FYI, I did spend one evening printing out all of my pictures and doing all of my journaling. That's probably, you know, the most time-consuming part. And then it took me roughly 2 hours to put the whole album together today. So by having a formula, and by, again, not reinventing the wheel and trying to be ultra creative, I was able to get this done really quick. And now I am prepped and ready to go for Week in the Life starting tomorrow for me. So I will likely be posting a Week in the Life flip through from my last year's album, maybe next week, before the official day of Week in the Life starts. And then I'm thinking during the actual week of Week in the Life, I may or may not post some process videos of my album. So we'll see how it goes. It's kind of up in the air right now. But anyway, thank you guys so much for being here and for watching this. If you liked this, give me a thumbs up down below. I hope to film many more album flip throughs. I just am waiting to complete a couple more before I do that. And yes, I will see you guys again on Monday for a story project. So make sure you guys check back then. And tomorrow I will have my next sketch go up on Instagram. So if you guys are participating in my Sunday sketch series, make sure you stop by tomorrow on my Instagram account to see what the new sketch is for the week. Until next time, I hope you guys have a fabulous rest of your weekend, and I will catch you all in the next video. Bye now.